you guys can see, I have a new power rack. This is the Raptor F22, the new power rack from Major Lutie. They sent this rack out to me to review, and my wife and I just finished putting it together. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and let's get right into it. As I said, this is a new rack. It's not even on Amazon yet, so let's go through some specs so you know what you're getting if you decide to order one for your home gym. This rack is purpose-built for home gyms with a nice small footprint of 55.51 inches from front to back. It's 68.9 inches wide, and it's 82.5 inches tall, which is nice if you have lower ceilings. Now, unlike their previous rack, the PLM03, the Raptor F22 has plate storage in the back instead of on the ground and out to the sides. So having the plate storage on the back helps further minimize the footprint of this rack, and it makes it a fairly easy fit if you plan to put it into a room with other equipment like I have, or if your home gym shares space with non-gym related items. When you purchase this rack, you'll have the option of getting the rack only, the rack plus an adjustable bench that goes from flat to incline, the rack, bench, and barbell, or a rack, bench, barbell, and a 230-pound bumper plate set. If you get the full package of rack, bench, bar, and plates, Major Lutie is currently offering $460 off your purchase, so that's something to keep in mind. I'll go over the Olympic bar and these bumper plates in a minute, but first let's finish talking about this rack. The Raptor F22 is a half rack with 6 band pegs. There are 2 on each side of the bottom and then 1 on each side at the top. It also features a built-in functional trainer with a dual integrated pulley system that has 17 holes designed so you can adjust the height of each pulley and allow you to do multiple cable movements quickly and efficiently. The pulley system is plate loaded and is designed to fit Olympic plates, which you can load on any of the 4 weight horns on either side, up to the max listed capacity of 300 pounds per side. Now, at first I was concerned that the inside weight horns would get in the way of my adjustable bench, but I didn't find it to be an issue when I did a quick bench session, because you don't train inside this half rack, but outside of it using the flip down safeties that come with this unit. However, because the J-hooks go on the same post as the pulleys and the flip down safeties and the dip handle attachments, it means you have to do some moving things around if you're going from something like a bench press to dips or cable flies. You also might get in the way of the landmine if you have the safeties down too low, but I don't know, because as I said, I just got this rack, so I haven't had a chance to train with it in any meaningful way. But it's on my list of things to check, so stay tuned. In any case, the safeties are reinforced and the brand has rated them at 800 pounds capacity. So as long as you don't squat over 600 pounds, you should be fine. Let's say 500 pounds to be on the safe side. Now, because of how narrow this rack is, they've added 16 reinforcing tabs for stability, and that is again going to be important when you're using your multi-grip chin-up stations. And this rack also comes with a station for pull downs and seated cable rows. To go with that, you have a few attachments that come with it, including a short cable bar for tricep movements and bicep curls, and then you have a longer bar that you can use for the pull downs and the seated cable row, as well as anything else that you can come up with depending on your creativity. This rack has dip handles, and the max weight for the dip handles is 350 pounds. I do have questions about the stability of this unit from front to back, because there's not a way to bolt it down, and with the limited plate storage on the back of this rack, I'm not sure what would happen if you were to do something like heavy rack pulls using these flip down safeties. That's going to be something else I will experiment with one day when I'm feeling a little froggy, and we'll see if we can go viral without going to the emergency room. This rack has 3 color options: black like the one I have, red with black cross members and black pull-up attachments, and white with black cross members and black pull-up attachments. This rack is 13 gauge steel and has roughly 2 by 3 inch posts. I say roughly because it's actually metric, so the posts are 50 millimeters by 70 millimeters, but I figured I'd do the math for you if you hit that like and subscribe button for me. I mentioned that I received a barbell and bumper plates with this rack. The bar is the 20 kilogram Olympic barbell, which comes with a chrome finish, and it has a maximum load capacity listed by the brand at 750 pounds. I characterize the knurling on this bar as average or medium. It doesn't have a center knurling, so if you try to use it for something like squat or bench press, you're just going to need to pay close attention when you're trying to center yourself, particularly with the squat, but you can use it for that. It does have 2 sets of rings on either side so that you can use those for centering yourself for either powerlifting, hand spacing, or for something like the clean or the snatch. This bar has a 30 millimeter diameter shaft, and it's got a loadable sleeve length of 16 inches with 52 inches between the sleeves. You can use this bar along with the bumper plates that Major Lutie also has on their website. And those plates are available in 10 pounds up to 55 pounds if you just want to get a set, or you can get an entire set of 140 pounds, 230 pounds, and 340 pound sets depending on what you need. Now what they sent me was a pair of 25s and a pair of 35s, and they're both 100% high density rubber, and they are color coded, as you can see, for easy identification. All right, so as I said, I just got this power rack and this bar and the plates, so I really haven't had a chance to play with it. My wife and I literally just set it up this weekend, and so I've really only done a couple of things with it. I was able to use it for my bench workout, and I didn't use this bar, I used a different bar, but I was able to use it for my bench workout, and I didn't have any issues with the sandwich J cups at all. The safeties performed the way they should. I didn't have to fail the weight, but they were easy to get in place. And one thing that I always look for when I'm setting up safeties is whether or not when I get my arch, I'm able to get under the safeties, and if I were to have to sag and put the bar down, if I'd be able to get out from underneath it. And that's actually not a function of the safeties, that's a function of the hole spacing. So this rack has numbered hole spacing. It's numbered every 3 increments, so 9 and 12 as opposed to 9, 10, 11, and 12. And so I was able to find a hole spacing or a rack position, rack height, that worked for me and where I arch. So that was a good thing, because that is something that does concern me whenever I get a brand new rack I'm trying to adjust to it. Other things that I like are, this thing came with UHMW, and it is securely attached. I know that some manufacturers actually don't really like working with UHMW because it can be a little bit of a pain for them, but it looks like Major Lutie took some time to get the UHMW on here, get it fixed securely so that it won't come off. It's not just glued on, they actually have everything screwed down to make sure that it stays where it's supposed to be. The thing that I'm most excited to use this rack for are incline cable curls. And that's because I've done incline dumbbell curls, but there's a certain part of the strength curve where I don't have any resistance, and so I've been trying to experiment with bands and things like that to see if I could get tension all the way, and it just wasn't really working out. So I'm super excited to be able to use this dual pulley system to do incline cable curls sitting down on a bench. One other thing that I was able to use briefly were these dip handle attachments, and I immediately found out that although they're designed to face into the rack, I can't actually use them facing into the rack. I have to put them on the way they're designed to go, and then I have to face this way, because if I turn around and face this way the way I did when I first tried to use it, I'm going to hit my head on this cross member right here, and I can tell you that was not a pleasant experience. But learning has occurred, and so now I set them up where it's comfortable for me, and then I face this way, so I'm like this when I use the dip handles. And that's just something that you want to keep in mind if you are over 5'7". I like the way that the pull-up handles feel. They're not very, very slick, and that is a plus because I like to do a lot of one-hand movements, hangs and things like that. So it's good that I don't have to put chalk on my hands or bust out the straps or anything like that. These are things that I am excited to try. And I'm also super excited to try out the band pegs to see what they are like, because I haven't used band tension in my training in quite some time. So this is something else that I'm looking forward to being able to add back into my toolbox. As far as first impressions go, I gotta tell you that this bar is the only thing they sent me that doesn't pass the initial eye test, because it showed up at my door with significant scratches all over it. The reason this matters is if you live in an extremely humid climate, these scratches and chips are where rust will attack your barbell first. If I had paid for this barbell, I would definitely ask the company to send me another bar. So while I don't necessarily blame Major Lutie for this, I did let them know about this so they can have a direct and pointed conversation with the shipping company. Ultimately, this seems like a decent purchase, although I prefer generally 11 gauge steel and 3x3 racks over a 2x3 rack like this, both for stability reasons and because most of my favorite custom attachments are designed for a 3x3 rack. However, I will say that this is a definite upgrade over my last rack, which was 16 gauge steel and 2x2. That being said, I can't give you guys a final verdict on this rack because I haven't even owned it for a full week yet. So it would be irresponsible of me to tell you what I think, good or bad. So I'm gonna do what I normally do and train with this rack, the barbell and plates for the next couple of months, and then come back and give you a full verdict at the end of that time. Now, if you can't wait for my review, the link to purchase or to just check out the rack, the bar, or the bumper plates is in the description for this video. And FYI, the Raptor F22 comes with a 365-day limited warranty from the date of delivery and a 35-day return guarantee if you're not satisfied for any reason.